Greetings, gang. Friday morning, day one in the new America. The one where the Constitution has been shredded and the notion of justice is just a memory. A nation of sheep begets a government of wolves. Edward R. Murrow. Probably one of the last real journalists this country's had. This whole case with Trump being convicted is a joke. It probably, hopefully, cemented the demise of the Democrat Party. As of about 4 o'clock this morning when I'm recording this, the numbers that I can figure, or numbers I can find, is the Trump campaign raised about $50 million since the verdict came out last night. They crashed the website trying to make donations. Hopefully, and I'm hearing this from a lot of talking heads, a lot of lawyers, that yesterday's verdict cemented a victory for Trump in November. They're not coming for me, they're coming for you. I'm just standing in the way. Trump's famous quote. Guess what? They just pushed him out of the way. Now they're coming after us. Every one of us is on a list somewhere, okay? Whether it's for making YouTube videos, commenting on social media, buying a gun, buying ammunition, buying camping gear, whatever, okay? They're coming for us now. America as we knew it died yesterday. A lot of you watched the impromptu live stream that I did last night. If you couldn't tell, I'm a little pissed. Okay. No, I'm not going to apologize for anything I said. No, I'm not going to apologize for my language at all. Okay? Sorry. I have that right. It's called freedom of speech. Or at least I had it up until yesterday. Don't know if we have it anymore. We'll see. The travesty that was this case should shock everybody to the core. Because now they can make up crimes and charge you for them. They can charge you without even making up a crime. They don't like you. They can make you a felon. It's exactly what happened here. Okay? The judge couldn't even told the jury they didn't have to agree on everything and they could still come up with a conviction. They may have disagreed with what Michael Cohen said or what Stormy Daniels said or whatever. But as long as something in there made sense to you, that was enough for a conviction. This verdict will inevitably get overturned. Whether or not it's in the New York Appeals Court, which I have a tendency to doubt, but most certainly it will be in the Supreme Court, which it'll eventually get there if the New York Appeals Court doesn't kick it first. What's going to be interesting is the sentencing, which is 4 or 5 days before the Republican convention. How convenient is that? Okay. Will they sentence Trump to jail? Will they sentence him to house arrest? Will they stay the sentence while the appeal's being heard? The one thing that people say, and is not true, is that Trump could pardon himself. Okay, apparently from listening to some lawyers, some legal scholars, that's not possible. So even when, I won't say if, because I think yesterday cemented a victory in November, this has to be decided by the court. It will inevitably be decided by SCOTUS. But what does it mean for us? It means that Biden now has carte blanche to send out the Gestapo for anybody, to do whatever they want. You can now be arrested and jailed without committing a crime. They'll just make one up. You know the old saying, find me a person and I'll find a crime? Okay. Joseph Stalin Biden is so guilty of election interference, it is unbelievable. The entire structure of the Democratic National Committee is behind this. The entire DNC should be drawn and quartered, tarred and feathered, executed for treason. Because that's what election interference is, treason. You saw overnight the giddiness of all the clowns in Hollywood, the love fest, the circular firing squad on CNN and MSNBC about this was a great day for America. No, it wasn't. This was a day when the people got told, we're in power, not you anymore. We have become a banana republic, a totalitarian regime. For the first time in history, a U.S. president has been convicted of a crime. For the first time in history, a elected official, a president, was an active participant in jailing his opponent. That sounds like things that happened in China, the Soviet Union, all those great countries that we should emulate, right? This is our future. If we don't stand up and take this country back, a nation of sheep begets a government of wolves. We need to stop being sheep. Seeing stories overnight, I got very little sleep, about independents who have now come out and said, that's it, I'm done, Trump's got my vote, end of story. Democrats coming out and saying, I don't like Trump, but we need a justice system and this is wrong. I'm voting for Trump. This stunt will probably massively backfire on the Democrats, which shouldn't surprise anybody, because how many times have you heard me say they can't think past the tip of their nose? Their idea is, we'll convict Trump and he won't be able to run. There's nowhere in the Constitution that says you can't run for president from prison. If I remember correctly, Charles Manson once tried to run for president. I mean, obviously didn't get anywhere. But there's nothing that says you can't. What's going to happen next? Who are they going after next? I'll tell you what needs to happen. We need to see attorneys general from multitudes of other states fix this. Don't know how. I'm not a lawyer. The one question I have is this. Because remember, this case was tried in New York, which doesn't have the authority to prosecute for federal crimes, yet the crime didn't matter here. If this was anybody else, it would have never gone to trial. But because it's Donald Trump, I mean, remember how many other entities said there's no case here until Alvin Bragg got this and said, this is what I ran on. I have no choice but to go after it. And if I can find a crooked judge and a crooked jury, I'm golden. And he did. So let me ask this for any of you who are lawyers. What is the recourse that other counties or the state itself in New York have? Can they do anything? This was done in a New York court. Right? Okay. When are we going to see the prosecution of the prosecution? When are we going to see the prosecution of the judge? When are we going to see the corruption trials of both of them? This should backfire massively. It has to. Because if it doesn't, the rule of law in the United States has just been shredded. The Constitution is being used as a paper towel to mop up a spill. Yesterday was the day the United States as we knew it ended. Today is the first day that we have the opportunity to fight to get it back. For years, the people of this country have been happy to just let Donald Trump do all the work. He's been the only one who's been fighting for all of us. I mean, again, does he need this job? No. The guy's 77 years old, okay? He's in the twilight of his life. He's got more money than, I mean, what is he, depending on the day, he's in the top 500 richest people in the world, okay? He worked for free. Why? Because he loved this country. You go around any street in this nation and ask somebody to do something, and the first comment out of their mouth is, what's in it for me? Can you do this? How much are you going to pay me? Can you do this for me? It's going to cost you this. And Trump went into Washington and said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take years off my life for you. He gets nothing out of it. I mean, really. Oh, well, it made him a household name. Sure, because Donald Trump wasn't a household name before 2016. Got it. Okay. Nobody had ever heard of him. How many cameos in movies has he made? Okay. I mean, he's probably one of the most well-known people in the world. You know, if you had a police lineup of Jeff Bezos, Warren Buffett, and Donald Trump, could you pick out Donald Trump? Probably. You know, no problem. He didn't need this. But now he needs us. It's time we get out and start fighting for our rights. He's done what he could, and it could feasibly cost him time in prison for it. It shouldn't, I hope. If we want our country back, conservatives, independents, Democrats, we can forget about liberals and progressives. They're too far gone. We need to do whatever we can, like him or not. This is bigger than Donald Trump. This is the future of the country. Do we live under a constitution or do we live under a dictator? Biden wants to be a dictator. Biden's trying to eliminate his opponents. The entire Democrat Party is trying to eliminate their opponents. I mean, don't forget, guys, how many states tried to keep Trump off the ballot? I mean, this only goes back a few months, right? You know, they're going to remove him from the ballot. I mean, every one of those secretaries of state is guilty of election interference. No more. They're hell-bent on destroying Donald Trump. They're hell-bent on destroying the United States. Trump's no savior. Trump isn't Jesus Christ. The people that try to pigeonhole conservatives saying, oh, we worship Trump. No, we don't. He's just a man who loves his country. And from what I can see, there's a lot of other men and women who love this country too. Why is it all on his shoulders to save it? What are we doing? We need to get loud. We need to make our voices heard. I don't care where, whether it's the New York Appeals Court, whether it's the Supreme Court, whether it's your congressman, your governor, whatever. Our country's future depends on it. One man cannot save this country. 1 million men can't save this country. But if enough of us work together to stomp out and completely destroy this cancer known as liberalism, spearheaded by Joe Biden, Barack Obama, Susan Rice, Hillary Clinton, and the rest of the cast of underlings that are clowns, we need to get rid of them. They need to be removed from power. Government officials are supposed to work for us, not the other way around. We are not their loyal subjects. They are our employees. We pay them. We decide who works and who doesn't. We're the employer. We have the hiring and firing decisions. It's time to clean house. This is still a huge, big if, we have an election in, 5 months now? 5 months and a week. If we have an election. If Trump does not win, it will be the last election we ever have. If Biden wins, this country is toast. That's it. The only way to save our constitutional republic is to get rid of the cancer that is running it. There's not a person in this country with a straight face that can tell you that their life is better now than it was 3.5 years ago. I've never in my life heard somebody say, oh, thank God I'm paying more for groceries now than I was last week. Oh, thank God the price of gas went up. Never heard that. There's enough fools out there who will try to gaslight you into believing they like what's going on. They don't. We have 5 months to figure out whether we are going to elect a convicted felon now, or if we're going to re-elect a pedophile. I don't know. If it comes down to which crime I'm more willing to forgive, not that it even happened, an accounting error sure doesn't seem nearly as repulsive as sniffing children or showering with my daughter. Yesterday was a travesty of justice. I don't regret one thing I said on the live stream last night at all. I know I might have offended some people. Frankly, I don't care. Okay. As I've said many times, if you don't like what I'm saying, that's what the little X in the upper right-hand corner is for. I love this country. I will fight for this country to my death. Will you? Pinball out.